Hi everybody and welcome back to another video. Now, if you've been looking at the SWAT Facebook page, Morning Tea, or even the Ironman Journey this week, you will have seen that I have been asking you for questions, your questions about how to fix the biggest problems you face in training to be the triathlete you want to be. So in the next few weeks, I am going to answer these questions for you in my little weekly videos. And this is the first question that I've chosen today. So I'm going to disappear from the screen, but you'll still be able to hear my voice. And the question is, when it comes up, how do I know that my training is paying off without having to consistently look at heart rate zones? Well, the answer to that is that you need to test regularly. Before starting your training, you need a benchmark. That benchmark is a time trial. It's a standard test that you do on a regular basis. Now, we have some tests that we do. You can do time versus distance or distance versus time. So time versus distance is how long it takes you to cover a predetermined distance. The other way around, it's how far you can get in a predetermined time. Some examples of this are what they do in swimming, where they have a T30. So you see how many meters you can swim in 30 minutes. Now, some standard other tests that we have in swimming, we have critical swim speed, or even just a simple 400 right through to a 2K time trial. Just take your time. On the bike, we have functional threshold power. That's usually a 20 to 60 minute test using a power meter and taking the average time and ascertaining what's known as functional threshold power. You can also do a time trial over 10 or 50 miles, or 10 up to 50 miles, 10, 25 and 50 being the standard distances. In running, you can run a standard course. Standard distances that people time themselves over 5, 10 or 21k, but you could use a route that you have near your house that's an odd distance, but as long as you use that one regularly, that could be your benchmark. You could also invest in having a lab test which you could get through a university, and there they do everything under very controlled conditions, often taking blood samples at regular intervals and checking the lactate concentration. And over time, there will be a weaker concentration of lactate for a given effort level, indicating an improvement in fitness. Those cost money, so the ones I mentioned first are the more economical methods. Once you have that, you need to test regularly. I'd suggest no shorter than every 8 weeks, because it takes 6 to 8 weeks before those fitness benefits can be seen. I would also suggest that you compare like with like. So you do one test in January, you do another test in March, you do another one in May, and then you do one in August just before your key event. You should see an improvement in 1, 2 or all 3 sporting disciplines of triathlon. However, if you do the same test in October when you've had your end of season break, it's likely that your fitness will have gone down. So if you're comparing with your peak, you're going to be disappointed. However, comparing with the previous October, you may be pleasantly surprised by the fact that you are fitter this year than you were at the same stage last year. So compare like with like. In addition to that, control as many variables as possible. So that is possible in the laboratory, where they can control just about everything. But if you're doing a test outside, it may not be possible to control things like temperature, wind, weather, and even the air pressure, which can have an effect, particularly on cycling. So try and control as many variables as possible. Finally, you should know that all training will work given time. So you need to give a training program 6 to 8 weeks. Do not chop and change if you think it's not working. You need to test to find out definitively. So wait until you've done the test, and then if necessary make the adjustments to the training program. Some programs will work better than others, and some programs will work better for some people than they will for other people. Okay, you can't or won't always improve. You will stagnate in one sport, but maybe not in the other 2. You may stagnate in all 3, apparently, but have better racing results. You may also find that you don't improve if changes have occurred in your life circumstances. You're having to work harder, there's more stress. So don't be too hard on yourself. In fact, be realistic with the improvements that you're going to make. Expecting, if you can run a 40-minute 10K now, expecting to improve by 4 minutes and get down to 36 within 12 months is probably a little outside of your potential. However, improving by 1 minute might be possible given the right application. So be realistic with what you're going to achieve, always be happy with whatever you achieve, and always reflect on this based on the circumstances that you've had available to you in the training. Okay, that's it for now. I'm back, here I am again. Please keep sending me your questions. I'll be posting them on the various Facebook pages, as well as regularly on my to my mailing list every Monday and Friday. If you want a question answering, post it on one of the venues that I mentioned earlier, the Ironman Journey, my morning tea with Simon Ward on Facebook, or my restricted membership only swap page, and I'll do my very best to answer it, and if I can, I'll answer it with a video. That's all for now. See you again next week. Bye bye.